Okay. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Grace. Today I have a special guest. His name is Ken Lowe. He's an entrepreneur, a trainer and coach, and he's also part of he's the head of our Mastermind Group. So welcome, Ken.
Hi, Grace.
Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
That's great. So let's go back a few years. I just want to know a little bit about yourself, how you started this journey in the motivational field and all the changes you've gone through. So how did it all start for you?
Right. As you have introduced, I'm an entrepreneur and coach and trainer. So it's all started probably like 21 years ago. So that's back in 1999, where I basically started my business with two of my schoolmates at the time. So we started by selling office furniture for companies in Singapore, and we have since evolved into providing state-of-the-art product and services for data center and command and control center. So it has been a long journey for us since 21 years ago, and what we are doing right now. Yeah.
Wow. So that's awesome. So, what's your main business now? What are you into? What do you actually do?
Right. So what we're actually doing right now is, providing, ergonomic environment for command and control room user. So for example, like air traffic control center, air traffic control tower, for example, like, the oil and gas plant in maybe in Perth in Western Australia and also in other countries. So we provide, conducive environment for the critical facility operators so that they don't get fatigued so easily, so that they are always, motivated and able to function in that kind of a demanding environment. So we do all that. Yeah.
Okay. So what inspired you, first of all, to get into the motivational side of things? Like we obviously met through Train the Trainer online with Jack Canfield, who's America's #1 success coach. Who introduced you, or how were you introduced to that sort of industry?
Right. I think for me, I'm always fascinated by, the self-help section in the bookstore. So I first came to Malaysia also about close to 19 years ago. I'm a Singaporean, but I basically spent a lot of time in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, setting our regional office and running. So during my free time, I would like to, go to the bookstore and somehow the self-help section, draws my attention. So I think it's from there then I start to get to know more about personal development and professional development. And I think a lot of time is also because when we are facing with struggle, challenges, whether in our businesses or in our personal life, we want to find an answer or a solution or how to. So I think that started my journey exploring books, audios, videos. And since then, I get to know Jack in 2015 from the Success Principle book. And since then, I think I've been listening to that book for, 50 to 80 times, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, whether I'm running, whether I'm driving, and it does help a lot, getting through the challenges and coming out with good solution and action. I think that's how I kind of stumble into this motivation, personal development kind of industry, if you can put it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, tell me what are the past projects or current projects you're working on, especially the past ones, successful projects that you've worked on, and what you did to get there.
Right. I would say over the last 20 years, we have done quite a number of projects in the region. Region actually includes all the Southeast Asian country, China, and in Australia as well.
Oh, so, wonderful.
Yeah. So I think one of the interesting project I would say will be the biggest petroleum integrated complex in Malaysia. So it's a mega project. I think it's somewhere around 16 billion or something dollar that the national oil and gas company invested. So what we did is, the interesting part is not just winning the project; it's the competition. The designing, the manufacturing, and the implementation of the whole project. The project lasts for like about 3 years. So to me, I'm happy and grateful that I have a great team that go through from the competition, the competing to implementation and happy customer. So that is one of the, I would say, the signature project over the last 20 years. Of course, there are many more. And the current project that we are dealing with is related to critical facility. One of them is actually the air traffic control that I mentioned just now. Why is it so critical? I think it's quite easy to understand. Air traffic controller basically take care of landing and taking off of airplanes, whether is it the commercial one or the military one. So it's actually sometimes put them into a very intense environment. So yeah, we are very happy that we can actually provide some of that to them. And since you're from Melbourne, I just want to talk a little bit. I think we have also recently implemented for Sydney Metro the train command and control center. So we deliver the economic console furniture for them as well in Sydney.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, and also in Melbourne, I visited one of the best company in Melbourne. I think their name is called Thales. And I visited their facility in Melbourne that deal with the air traffic control business. And by the way, they are one of our customers as well in Australia.
Wow.
So, yeah, so those are some of the past command and control room projects that I've been working on and still working on. Yeah.
It sounds very complicated and detailed. You obviously have quite a high skill level in that area.
I think we learn along the way, and as I've been talking about a lot about skill development, sometimes it's when you need to deliver certain result or outcome, and basically it's about picking up new skill and master it so that you can deliver that kind of outcome, that kind of desired result that you want to deliver.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get on to yourself as a trainer and coach. Obviously, you love training and coaching people.
Yeah.
Right. What would you say would be your master skill? What are you really, really good at as in that area of training and coaching?
I would think it's about people skill. If I put it in a very layman term.
Don't be shy. You can tell everybody how good you are, Ken.
I think people skill is something that I kind of inherited maybe from my mother. Oh. She's always the person who are caring for other people, obviously for the family. And something that I learned from her when I was running my company is like, how should I treat my staff? Mm. What she told me was, treat them well, take care of them, take care of their welfare, which she did when my dad was having a number of staff when they were working as a tailor. So I would see her always taking care of the staff, making meals for them and things like that. Yes. So it kind of shaped my leadership and management philosophy or style, which I think in a management context is the people-centric management instead of just the task-centric management. So I would say one of the skills that I have in coaching and training, it's really about people-centric. So it's always about how can I inspire them? How can I empower them? How can I make a difference to their life with love, joy, and passion? So those are, I think, over time, I built on that skill set as you would agree with me that having just people skill might not be enough to be a good
No.
be a good coach or good speaker. So there are many other skills that I am learning and developing almost every day, I think. Yeah.
It's probably why you have such a good team, because
Thank you.
you're nurturing them.
Nurturing, yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's a great word to use.
Yeah, and they're following a good example, so they're going to learn from you.
I hope so.
We're only as good as our team, aren't we, really?
Yeah.
So let me talk about, because I love books and you love books too, as I can see your bookshelf there. What would you say would be your top 2 books that you have read in your lifetime?
I think my top 2 books, the first one would be The 5am Club. The 5am Club from Robin Sharma. I mean,
Robin Sharma, yep.
Yeah, I've been reading his book probably since maybe 10, 20 years ago. You know, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I think that's one of the classic book that intriguing, interesting, page turn. So in 2018, Robin came out with The 5am Club, which is kind of a continuation from The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And why I like it so much is really the daily intentional living type of habit that
Yes.
we build into it. Because to me, personal development and professional development, a lot of time fall short of just stopping at the concept or the principle, but how to take action and have the desired outcome. To me, it's really the combination of the principle and the habit. So that's why I would choose 5am Club as one of my all-time favorite until now.
It's a good book. Yeah, I've got it here somewhere too. Yeah, it's behind me.
Yeah, it's behind you. And I think the second book I would choose will definitely be The Success Principle by Jack Canfield.
Yeah.
You know, Jack has been phenomenal, and it's a game changer for me, actually. As I say, back in 2015, when I first get in touch with this book, I must have listened to it like 50 to 80 times, constantly. And the taking 100% responsibility for your life, which was also in your podcast.
Yes.
One of the fundamental principle that every one of us should embrace and act on it. So yeah, the success principle is one of the greatest book that have influenced me, inspired me.
I agree. If people don't know what we're talking about, it's Jack Canfield's The Success Principles.
Yeah.
How to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So that's the book there.
That's
and
right.
The 5am Club by Robin Sharma. And it's a great concept by, the 5am Club. If you're getting up to an hour, 2 hours before everybody else, you got a head start, haven't you?
Exactly. And basically you set yourself up to face any kind of challenge.
Yes.
You will face in the daytime.
Yeah. Can you tell everybody about the Hour of Power?
Sure. I
love the Hour of Power.
I'm fascinated by that, So yeah, I think the Hour of Power basically made up of 3 components. I think the first one is the exercise and move your body and stuff like that. And the second part is actually, kind of like reflection, doing some kind of meditation, journaling, writing your gratitudes. And the last part is basically growing your knowledge, growing your wisdom by listening, reading, to books, audio, and videos. So these 3 main parts, if you put them all together, to me, in whatever sequence that you feel like it really transforms your whole day. And that's interesting for me. I've been practicing this for about 500 over days. And why I know it so clearly, because I'm practicing the journaling every day. So yeah, and I've never looked back since then. And it's really, again, I like to use the word game changer. If we all practice the the hour of power, or some people call it the victory hour. Robin Sharma called it his 2020, move, reflect, and grow.
Yeah.
So they are similar thing, but individual of us can actually tailor to what fits us the best. But this first hour in the morning, I can say is the most crucial one that set us up to live a daily intentional living, which is something that I am totally fascinated, and because I'm doing it, and because I have so much benefit out of it. And so I recommend our advice to anybody that's listening to this, watching this, give it a shot, give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Including the meditation as well. Because there's meditation as well in that. And it basically clears your head, clears your mind, clears like basically your whole being. You've exercised, you've meditated, you've journaled, you've read 20 minutes of a favorite book or something, you're set for the day, and you're more likely to make better decisions, aren't you? During the day.
Exactly. And there's one interesting question from Brandon Brashad that, interesting question that you ask yourself is, what is one thing that's going to stress me or trip me up today? So you imagine something that's going to stress you out.
Yeah.
And then you write down, and then the next question to answer is, so what would be your best self handle this stress or crisis? So you're basically prime yourself for handling something unforeseen that might pop up.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
How best can it be if you are already getting ready for any unforeseen circumstances? So all these add up together. The morning routine becomes so important to live I would say to live a fulfilled daily life and towards the goal that you're going after.
That's right. Yeah, I think with the meditation too, if you know of something that's going to happen that day, maybe there's a meeting that might be difficult, or there might be something that's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with, the meditating and visualizing the end product being perfect. So you're visualizing that meeting is going to go really well. So it's already happened.
Exactly. So I like to call it my GAV, G for Germany, A for America, V for Veronica. So my GAV, I'll always do it after my meditation, my 10 minutes of meditation. And the GAV stands for my goal, my affirmation, and my visualization. So right after the meditation, I'll do that with my vision board, and I'll start to, review my goal, do my affirmation, and start to visualize, like what you said just now, whether is it a difficult task, or is it a meeting, or is it something that I want to get done that day.
Yes.
So then it would kind of like complete the small little segment of reflection here for me.
No, that's awesome. I love the hour of power. That's great. Thanks for that explanation, Ken. Okay, so I just want to go into obviously recent events with everybody, well, most of the world being in lockdown, some more than others. How has that affected you personally, and also your business, and what challenges have you found, and what opportunities have you found out of that?
Right. I think personally, firstly, I think it's really working from home. It's kind of different from our normal lifestyle. So I'm in Malaysia. We have been under the lockdown since 18th of March. So I can say I'm kind of like seasoned working from home a person right now. So I think personally it's really adjusting to that quickly. And first thing first, I like to say is about self-care. We need to be able to make sure that we accept the new routine or new reality, and take care of our family in terms of safety, in terms of their well-being and all that. So once our self-care and our family care is taken care of, then of course is to branch off to the next pressing issue, which is the business. And what I did is I quickly example my core team, and then we start to talk about what is the new SOP for for working from home, and how can we reassure our people what we are going through, because our company is also heavily impacted by COVID-19. We are not immune to this. I believe a lot of small and medium enterprises are impacted by this crisis. So, but again, I'm grateful that I have a good team. So we quickly examine the team and say, so what is our purpose now? And our purpose is really to keep everybody in the company instead of start to think about laying off and all that. So with that in mind, and becoming resourceful and creative in finding new product, new services to sell, because the exciting thing that I shared with you just now, the command and control room, the furniture and everything, the sales just went down because a lot of people is under lockdown and projects being delayed. So what we did is we really look into what is in need right now. Of course, you can see there are a lot of surgical masks, there are, disinfectant spray and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So but fortunately, we found something that is relevant to this crisis. In fact, it's a breakthrough technology from Hong Kong. It's like air sanitizer, but it's not the regular one. Okay. So we basically went into that and start promoting and distributing this particular thing. So, but in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say to the entrepreneur is, first, never give up. Secondly, is to be resourceful, to rally the team, to have open and clear communication to the team. What are we expecting? How can we do it differently now? And of course, give the sense of confidence that you will get out of this stronger and stuff like that. So everything is done through video calls, video conferencing and things like that. So it's a big impact. And back to the hour of power, I would still credit to that, because with that, then I'll be able to have, this strong mindset, health set, soul set, and heart set, which Robin Sharma would like to say, to tackle all these challenging, pressing issue and in the business. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of good will come out of this?
I think so, because working from home has its benefit. Like
certainly does.
And really, I get to spend with my wife and my daughter all the time. Of course, we have our own thing to do, and she has her own home-based learning to do, and my wife loves to cook for us. So everything actually come into a very nice setting.
So you've always got nice home cooking for you.
Very nice. Very nice, and I feel so blessed, and a lot of gratitude to that.
That's great.
And other opportunity, I think that we look at it. If we talk about coaching and training, I think as we talk about in the Mastermind Group, it's really more towards the online training, more towards the virtual learning or webinar and stuff like that. So basically, what we need to do is to improve our skill in terms of the online method of delivering our message, our teaching, and all that. So those, I think, are a great opportunity out of this crisis. And also because of this, I must say it's not easy. The amount of stress that we are getting, it's a lot. But because of that, I think it propels us to think out of the box, to push ourselves, to find solution and all that. And it's really about stress plus some kind of rest, and then equals to grow. This is by another author from Peak Performance Book. So I really think the good thing out of this is we will all become stronger, more wisdom, more compassionate, more loving, more gratitude out of this crisis. I think those are some of the good opportunities that I can see.
I think life always finds a way.
Yeah.
And we as a human race always find a way to live differently, or that's why, like technology, there's always new technologies coming out. We find a way. don't we? Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. Yeah.
So basically, you're in the industry that you're in. How do you think once everything recovers? Do you think there'll be any major changes in how you guys do things?
I would think so. Firstly, I think my industry, in terms of the command and control room, it can easily take maybe, I don't know, 6 months to a couple of years to so-called recover back to the pre-COVID-19. So really for us is to reinvent ourselves and look at the business as a whole, as in, so based on the current skill set that we have or the new skill set that we can acquire, what else can we do as a company? What is our core competency? It could be design and engineering. It could be sales and marketing. It could be, customizing certain solution for the customer. So we really need to reinvent our business to be able to survive, post-COVID. And again, like what we have mentioned just now, is really about being resourceful and keep trying.
Yeah. I think in future companies may have, or not only companies, but people in general will have a contingency plan in place just in case, not necessarily this sort of thing, like an outbreak, but it could be anything. But to have a contingency plan in place that if for any reason things stop, they might have their savings in place. People in general, if they lose their job, I've got certain savings in place, or they might have some other contingency plan. So I think it's made us be more grateful for what we have. So it's definitely a game changer, but I do think a lot of good will come out of it. Unfortunately, it's some bad things have happened, but I think we'll definitely not so much think about all these material things that are not necessarily important. Family is important. Having a roof over your head's important. So, so things will change. Okay, so Ken, what about you now? What are you doing at the moment, and what's the main future goal you have for yourself?
Right. I understand goal setting is one of your favorites.
I love it. I love setting goals. Love them.
Right. So I think for me personally, and for a lot of other people out there, I think what the immediate goal that most of us have, I think, will be to handle the pressing issue that we are all facing. So I think one of the pressing issue for a lot of people right now, I'll say it's financial. So when I talk about financial, it's basically in a company context. How do you make sure that you have a positive cash flow? How do you make sure that you have enough cash to survive for the next 3 to 6 months or even 9 months? So for me, the very immediate short-term goal is to generate positive cash flow for my company. And like I mentioned just now, some of the things that we put in place and rally my tribe, to really work towards that. So that is one of my immediate goal in terms of the business. My longer term goal, like for example, my 1 year goal is really to be a professional speaker, trainer, coach, to serve people, to inspire people, to empower people to make a difference, in people's life. So that is I would say my 1 year goal. And my longer term goal is really to master the craft, to be a great professional trainer and coach, in the personal and professional industry. And in fact, I have found a way to marry my passion into my business. When I say married, basically merger. I use what I've learned to coach and train my staff, and I think that's kind of really fulfilling for me, and I hope it's useful for them, that I conducted Jack's Success Principle workshop. I do one-on-one coaching with them. So yeah, those will be my immediate goal and my year-long goal and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think one of the great things about the success principles is that it actually binds itself to corporate, just individuals, could be a non-profit organization. It actually applies to anybody, doesn't it?
Yes, it is.
Anybody, basically anybody could read that book.
Yeah, that's why I think the success principle is so universal that we can apply to a teacher, a parent, a nurse, a lawyer, a scientist, everybody that wants to get from where they are to where they want to be.
To where they want to be, exactly. And that's what my podcast is based on. So yeah, no, it's a great book. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Ken, about anything about yourself? What's anything else happening?
I think it's really about practicing the daily intentional living.
Yep.
That I would like most of the people and audience to put that into practice, and it's okay that if we don't get it right every single day, and just press on and continue to install that habit of the morning routine and the evening routine. And I like to say that one of the I'm working on a book anyway, so one of the last chapter that I just recently coined the subheader, it's smile when it's time to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the last day of our life. When we look back, we need to be able to answer to ourselves that we live a daily intentional life, that it's with meaning and purpose, and we really add value to people, so that you can really feel contented and you can really smile and know that there's no regret.
No, that's right.
That's why it's so important to live a daily intentional life, because our years of whether is it a success or achievement is built up from our daily activities and our daily intention. So I think that would be something that I'm fascinated, and something that I really love to share with a lot of people. My journey, the way I do it, and of course I learn from you. I learn from our mastermind group. I learn from all the heroes and successful people that I think at least it makes some sense to me now. It will be the way to live a fruitful life, or to live a life with fulfillment and life with meaning. So yeah.
Yeah, live. It's like the power of focus, and live with intention, so that at the end, you have left a great legacy. You've helped a lot of people. You've inspired people, and that's exactly what you wanted to do.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ken, for joining me today. It's been great, very insightful and inspiring, and I love your work.
Thank you so much, Grace. And I'm really grateful for what you're doing, this conversation with Grace. And I think it's going to inspire a lot of people. And a big shout out to your podcast. I think everybody should go listen to your podcast. It's really nicely done with professional audio,
Thank you.
quality and everything. So check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called The Road to Success. I'm not here to plug me. I'm here to plug you. So. One more question, Ken. If anybody wants to contact you, how do they do that?
I think right now it's still through my email. As you know, I'm still building up some channels. So
yeah, you're on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as well.
So people can send a message that way. Terrific. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ken. And we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. And have a great day. And I know you're going to make a lot of difference to people's lives.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Ken. Bye. Bye-bye.